Well, good morning. I'm Jaginder Rana. Taking new topic today, that is insurance for para ballooning sport. Insurance for para ballooning sport. The para ballooning sport has been launched all over India at different destinations of the places of tourist interest. It has become one of the main attraction of various tourist spots. Now, a good number of tourist resorts, beach sports, even organizers of various flying clubs are actively involved in organizing frequent ballooning sports, mainly during winter season. So, before going to pen down for different contingencies of insurance cover required for the people involved in this sport, let us say briefly a few salient features of this event in detail. So, paraballooning is based on the lighter than air technology. Lighter than air technology. It was in Cyrano of Beguerin, the comic history of the Moon and the Sun, published in 1657 to 1662, that the idea of lighter than air vessels was introduced. The impossible was mixed with possible. It is since that numerous adventures of the bird tried different ways and means to create a ship that could be lighter than air and fly. It has always been the dream of everyone, maybe the child, young or old, to fly in air. Researchers started with the thought of using continuous containers filled with dew, that is water vapor, then vacuum filled with containers, then a system of the air, and then came hydrogen and helium filled balloons. So the hot air balloons are not being durable for a prolonged flying. The modern techniques are using the hydrogen or helium filled balloons, mainly for paraballooning sports. Now the balloons consist of an envelope made up of a special fabric coated with several coats for a special material on either side to make the balloon leak proof. These coatings reduce the permeability of the balloon to hydrogen or helium to a great extent. Also, the coating prevent damages to the fabric due to ultraviolet radiations. So, after the balloon is constructed, it is then tested in a controlled situation by means of the high tensile steel cable attached to an electric winch. Now the test rider can enjoy the flight by being suspended from envelope. Sometimes you might have seen the paraballooning as an adventure sport at different beaches of India, like Kalingat beach of the Goa, while even 2 or 3 persons are enjoying flying together at the same time. So principally paraballooning is based on the lighter than air technology. Although the balloon flies up to certain height, but it is normally tied to the ground by means of high tensile steel rope for the amateur riders, and the main purpose in such cases to prevent the balloon from free flight. In all such occasions, the paraballoon upward movement is triggered based on a release of brakes applied, with the help of which certified for main right operations. Similarly, the balloon is pulled back with the help of same winch on the ground. Now, whereas the professionals are using the free flying balloons which have the control mechanism with the gondola attached to the balloon envelopes. In Discovery Channel, you might have seen such adventurists over the wild animal sanctuaries in Africa to watch these wild animals free and to take their snaps through cameras fitted with tele lenses. The technology in which a paraballooning operates is based on the filling the balloons with hydrogen or helium gas, which is lighter than air, and the operation is also based on the principle of Archimedes principle, being filled by gases lighter than air as balloon tries to lift itself out of the heavier and cooler layer near the ground. Now the question is safety features. The balloon is filled with an inert gas. This gas is light and non-combustible. This is the safest gas used world over the for lighter than air technology flights. So the helium pressure in the balloon is balanced for any change by special system inside the balloon known as the balloonet. This would ensure the helium pressure to remain at optimum level at all times. Nevertheless, if due to any unforeseen circumstances the pressure shoots up, the special release valve placed at the top of the balloon will ensure that the pressure inside is well maintained. Now insurance requirements. So with the static background, it is amply clear that the paraballooning is one of the most current attractive events of the Indian adventure sports, which also involve a lot of risk handling exposure, and this kind of event is made to withstand different weather and other unforeseen eventualities. However, based on business acumen, it is always advisable to take out insurance coverage for these inherent risk exposures beyond acceptable parameters, and therefore it is advisable that anyone among these tourist resorts, beach sports, event organizers, or the organizers of various flying clubs are always advisable to take the insurance covers for the risk beyond their acceptable parameters. Accordingly, the insurers would like to issue various policies covering the risk of these paraballooning operators and related other third parties. So coverage is granted for a special contingency policy for balloon sports. This policy is to be desired to cover the complete system comprising of from loss incurred due to damage, destruction on account of natural calamities, thefts and sabotage, social and political disorder, riots or any such event causing loss to property and accident, fatal damage or which has caused loss to business, it may cover. Now material damage covering the complete ballooning or complete balloon system, which and all over supporting system placed on the ground. Personal action covering the riders on the balloon. This part is to cover all kinds of injury, death, permanent disability or other casualty to any rider or riders on account of the operations and ballooning. Then any kind of accidental release of the gas inserted in the balloon like helium or hydrogen. Since helium hydrogen is the life of the whole system and is the most vital component to the whole system. So as a matter of fact, this ballooning system without helium or hydrogen is like a body without life. So it is the soul of this ballooning system and every other component revolves around it. However, at the same time, it is the most costly component of the whole operation. So it goes without saying that the loss of helium hurts the business of the ballooning sports heavily. Now details of the appropriate cover. Because any kind of third party liability having distinct limit for any one accident and any 1 year has to be selected. Details of appropriate cover is that items to be insured. Complete balloon system including the gas contained therein. Then personal accident cover for the riders and third party liability. So valuation of the risk. The valuation to be declared considering the reinstatement value for all the fixed assets like the following: the value of the complete value system including the gas, either helium or hydrogen, under the material damage covering the leakage of gases, Then value of winch and all equipment and accessories placed on the ground. Then special contingency cover also include the other aspects like personal accident to rider, personal accident to rider, individual value for each rider with the aggregate value for the total number of riders accommodated in a single ride. And then third party liability with a limit fixed by the insured as required by them and as given in writing in the proposal form. Then contingencies may be covered like the perils under standard fire and special peril policy, like theft, burglary, housebreaking, any kind of physical loss by any accidental external means, including loss of gas due to accidental damage of balloon excluding normal leakage, personal accident to rider for rider liability, number of riders in any one accident, limit of liability limit of each rider, etc. Third party liability following parameters are the main factors for the liability cover like balloon size, geographical scope of operations, including nature of terrain, whether located near the border of any neighboring country, concentration of population of the area of operations, extent of exposure, visible limit of cover, Indian common law parameters, specific claims experience of the organizers on TP liability aspects, etc. Then comes the premium rate. The premium rates may vary for the material damage. For the material damage section, for personal accident section, for paraballooning, table 1 for death only cover is given, table 2A for death and permanent total disablement, table 2 for death, permanent total disablement and permanent partial disablement, and table 3 for death or permanent total disablement, temporary total disablement. So for third party liability for paraballooning, the rates can be decided by the insurance company itself. So it goes without saying that any loss of helium hurts the business of the ballooning sports heavily. Although under normal circumstances this gas inside is well protected by special fabrics and high technical valves, which ensures that the helium loss is minimal or negligible. However, there exists a remote possibility of cyclones or heavy water tides with strong current hitting the system. So on account of this, it becomes necessary for the operators where they have information beforehand of an upcoming onslaught from either very high speed winds or any other natural force to release the gas, either helium or hydrogen, flatten the balloon and collapse the entire system, being completely damaged. Therefore, the cover for gas, helium or hydrogen loss from occurrence of accidental happening is also required by the interested parties. And any kind of third party liabilities having distinct limit for any one accident and any one period has to be selected by the insured himself. And the most important aspect is that with the stated background, it is amply clear that the paraballooning is one of the most current attractive events of the Indian adventure sports, which also involves a lot of risk handling exposures, and this kind of event is made to withstand different weather and other unforeseen eventualities. Thank you very much.